So, the spoilers are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 417, and let's just say that we're getting into potentially the end of the fight between Deku and Tomura, and let's just say that this is going to be a heartbreaking chapter! And you'll get to see why that's the case, but first, right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Andrew, and I'm here to cover the spoilers for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 417, titled Shinamori. And based off the title of this chapter, you can probably get a feel of what this chapter is going to be. But let's just really dive into the actual spoilers, because this is going to be a very emotional chapter, and I can't wait to actually go over the contents of it. And to start off, the chapter begins with a gust of wind coming out of Shigaraki, creating waves and sending Hatsume's robot flying away. The people watching the fight are confused because it looks like Midoriya has entered Shigaraki's finger cocoon. The next page shows Deku inside the fingers, throwing a punch that transfers all of the users except for Nana. She calls out everyone else's names, but soon realizes that she has been repelled due to her conflicting feelings regarding Shigaraki and Kotaro. When Deku's about to ring the doorbell, he approached by a dark version of himself. What are you planning? What will actually change if you know about the past? Deku realizes it's Shigaraki talking to him and says he doesn't know for sure, but he has to find out. Dark Deku says, "Die!" But Deku only replies with, "I'm coming in." But before he does, he almost gets hit by a truck and his backpack gets scratched, which makes Deku realize that he is physically inhabiting the world. Nana says that since Deku is a one-for-all user, he has taken on a physical form when entering Shigaraki's unconscious world and now can interact with it. Deku is surprised to see Nana, and she apologizes for being blocked, but Deku says that he's glad to have her with him. And with this part of the text spoilers, we get a good understanding of what's going on. Deku has entered the world of All for One inside of Tomura Shigaraki, but that now he can actually physically take damage within this world. And from what we're understanding, this may reflect on his physical body, even though he's in a mental scape. So this is something interesting. But what is just as interesting is the fact that Nana Shimura is also here, which ties into the title of this chapter of Shinamura, or Shimura. So we're going to get a little bit more Nana in this chapter, which is great because she's probably one of the most fan favorite characters of all the Vestiges, but potentially what this is leading up to within the next parts of the text spoilers is seeing Nana develop a lot more within this chapter as she confronts the past of her grandchild. But now getting more into the second half, or the second part of the text spoilers, we have Nana saying that this is Shigaraki's core, his origin, where they can hit him. It's the only chance they'll have to defeat him. Deku runs to press the doorbell, but Stain materializes, jumps on him, and puts two knives to his neck like he did to Shigaraki in the Hosu arc. Stain then turns into Redestro, who asks, "What do you stand for? What do you want to build?" Like he asked Shigaraki in My Villain Academia. Redestro then turns into Overhaul, who asks, "Do you have a plan?" Just like he asked Shigaraki in the Shi Hisakai arc. Overhaul asks Deku, "You have a plan?" And Deku replies, "No! Now get out of my way." He runs away and opens the door, but it turns into that photo of Nana and baby Kotaro. While we hear the conversation between Hana and Tenko, Nana sees the photo and gets teary-eyed. Deku walks through the door and sees Kotaro beating his son, but Tenko is represented as a black silhouette. Nana starts crying, and Deku runs towards them, but is blocked by Shigaraki's rejection. Kotaro says that their grandmother is a demon who abandoned her own son. And now here is where it begins to get juicy, because we're getting to get more of Deku interacting with Tomura Shigaraki's past as we go from Stain to Overhaul to Redestro, and not necessarily in that order. And Deku is going to be learning more and more about Tomura and the journey that he's gone through, but so will Nana Shimura. And it's going to accumulate to a point where we're going to be seeing the worst of the worst that happened with Kotaro and the actions that he took, which were directly responsible for the creation of Tomura, but also the byproduct of what Nana did to him, leaving him alone. So it's great that we're actually getting to see Nana Shimura actually interact with Shigaraki's past, Tomura's past, because she has a direct connection to it, literally being blood related to Tomura as well as to Kotaro, which is going to be her son. So it's cool that we're getting this potentially in this chapter, and now we're going to be approaching the final part of this chapter where we're going to put the nail in the coffin potentially on Nana Shimura and her character arc or her character development. So getting into the final part of the text spoilers, Nana thinks to herself that it isn't true, that she was forced to leave him behind. She realized that the wound she left on Kotaro ended up hurting Shigaraki too, and blames herself for not being strong enough to defeat All For One and go back for her son. She falls to the ground, but realizes she has to do something and wipes away her tears. I'm sorry, Kotaro, for being such a weak mother. I'm sorry I never came back. The two of them break through the invisible barrier. Deku jumps towards Tenko and Nana hugs Kotaro. With that, Nana finally gets transferred to Shigaraki. Her last thought is, it was all Grandma's fault. The scene changes and Tenko is no longer just a silhouette. Now he's crying in the backyard and starts decaying moan, while Deku watches. End of chapter. And this is apparently going to be the last thing that we get right before we go on break. And may I say that this seems to be a very emotional chapter. We're going to get potentially more of Nana coming to terms with her role in the creation of Tomura. We're going to get most likely a little bit closure from her side, and going to really see that this entire chapter is just building upon the development of Nana, as well as allowing Deku to finally learn the past of Tomura and get to learn what created Tomura and the origins of Tenko and what happened to him. So I can't wait to see where this is going to go, not just within this chapter, but within the next chapter as well. But you're just going to have to wait for a more proper review to get my more detailed thoughts on the topic. So yeah, that's all the spoilers that we have for right now. And let me ask you this, what did you think of the chapter? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And do you think that Nana will actually be able to finally atone or feel the needed relief from being able to be in the world with Tenko and her son? Leave your thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!